All right, Leo, so you're needing to stick to what you are wanting to do, what you're wanting to change in your life, but you have to be careful about being too aggressive here and then eventually losing all your passion for something. So discipline, training, consistency, and practice, and then the fire prince, optimism and aggression. And this did show up as a challenge for you guys. Now, like I said, with discipline, it's basically sticking to the commitments that you are making, especially if you're wanting to change things. But I look at that with the fire prince, and I think for you, it's like there aren't immediate results. And that's where you may be pushing too hard here, becoming obsessively focused on something that you're wanting. You know, and it's saying that you just need to kind of like slow down and be careful about being too like aggressive. You know, it's going to take time. That's what I want to tell you. What you're wanting is going to take a little bit of time. You need to commit to it and don't push it so much, or don't push too hard for something to happen. All right, Leo, here is your overall, the wheel. So with the Wheel of Fortune being the overall here, we could be talking about a situation that's coming back around. And I love the 3 fates here. You may not feel like you're in control of what is happening, but this could also be about a situation that is now working out in your favor. You know, so we'll see. Okay. You know, in the past, the 10 of Wands. So with the wheel being there, we're definitely coming to the end of this, but this is a situation that you're still kind of like dealing with. I think that what you're trying to do here is kind of like change the way fate is working out in this situation. But looking at the 10 of Wands, you're talking about being overwhelmed, being overburdened here, feeling a lot of pressure, carrying around a bunch of garbage, which can be the case. You know, but this is like, I'm tired of being oppressed. I want to feel like I am in control of what happens to me. Yeah, and speaking of control, the Emperor. Now, for some of you, absolutely, this could be about a person that you're dealing with here. And you have Aries showing up, but with the Emperor, it's really about who is in control. It is order and control out of chaos. Do you feel like you're in control of what is happening this time? And it may be that, you know, again, you're tired of being oppressed. You want to take control of what happens. You know, but we'll see here. Because if we're talking about another person, we can definitely be saying here that you're dealing with somebody who is aggressive. And that may be the problem. You could be dealing with the aggressive person here and you're wanting things to change. You know, because the Emperor is stubborn and set in his ways. You know, and I don't necessarily feel like that's you, because you wouldn't be feeling oppressed otherwise. Okay. Future conditions, the 2 of Wands. So, and again, right, like being able to control what happens in your life. But here you're needing to set down those plans. You know, and again, I go back to discipline. Acting towards something here. Acting towards something you've been planning on doing. You know, but needing to make the choice to do that. Now, it may be that an opportunity opens up and it may not be what it was in the past, looking at the Wheel of Fortune here, but clearly here it's wanting to act towards something. Okay, your best path to follow, the 5 of Wands. You know, and if we're talking about career here, this is basically you needing to ignore the competition because it doesn't even matter, right? You know, this is about you getting control here, taking action towards something that you have a passion with, absolutely. But needing to take the action to be in better control over, you know, what you're taking on, what you're doing. Now, with the 5 of Wands, though, you know, you may be dealing with somebody who's being petty and trying to be controlling, though, too, which is possible here. But either way, there's no point in getting caught up in any of that. You know, because that's just going to make you feel like you can't act towards something, you know. In your environment, judgment, damn, man. With the Emperor, you know, if you are dealing with a person here who's been oppressive, especially in work situations, I think that now it's like you're looking at it going, I don't really need this. It's like assessing a situation in a very different way here. Now with Judgment, it's also being forced to kind of review something. If you're dealing with somebody who's being aggressive, they may be continuously like dredging up the past. But for you with Judgment, you're definitely looking at it differently, because with the Wheel being there and looking at the Two of Wands, what you're planning on doing is far different than what you've experienced. And you sure the hell do not want to have a repeat of the past. That shit is over and done with. There's no reason for it to come back up, other than, somebody who is trying to gain control or not wanting you to have control over what you choose to act toward, which is possible here. Like I said, for some of you, if this is a work situation, it's just a really shitty boss, or somebody who thinks they have control over, what you choose to do, which is like, no. Your hopes and your fears, the Seven of Cups. And that is, fearing that what you've been fantasizing about won't become reality, right? But then it's also fearing that what you're expecting is not going to be that great. But on the other hand, with the Seven of Cups, right, it's looking at how good something can be. And there is at least some level of expectation there. But it's fantasizing and not acting towards something. So I still see hesitation on your part between the Two of Wands being in future conditions and the Seven of Cups. I don't want to act if it's not going to be what I expect. But you may be in that position because somebody may be, pushing you in that direction almost. And I think that Judgment is an opportunity for you to kind of look at everything that, has been built up on you and look at it in a way where you can go, no, that's not accurate, and it's not accurate for me. And that is where you gain control here. Wow, man. And then coming out the Nine of Pentacles. So for some of you, you're just wanting to become independent. You just need to take the action toward this. But I do like the fact that the Wheel is there. Because, no matter what is going on, whether we're talking about relationship or career, wherever you're facing, this kind of like petty combative energy here, it doesn't matter. As long as you're willing to take the action, things will start working in your favor, and you will start to see that, and look at the Wheel, right? There is, an opportunity for you to become financially independent, which may be the case here. But I look at this and I think that you're going to be in a place where you're going to be happier on your own, rather than being involved with a situation that is just, it's too much. With that Ten of Wands, it's just too much. And then the Three of Cups. And I feel good about that, though, looking at that as a total with the outcome. I don't think that we're talking about third-party situations here. I think that if this is the case, that's what's going to push you to act toward independence. But I look at this and I think support. There is something supporting you, or someone supporting you, that's going to help you be able to act toward creating your own independence here and taking back control of what happens, of your life, of your relationship, of your career. The Four of Cups and looking at the Ten of Wands, absolutely, we're talking about a situation that has been weighing on you for a while, where you have not been happy, you have been dissatisfied. It is not what you thought it was going to be, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough anymore. And again, the boredom and the disinterest is coming in because you're not allowed like freedom of movement. That's kind of what I feel like here. Now, looking at the Page of Swords, especially with the Five of Wands being there and the Emperor, we could definitely be talking about somebody who is communicating to you in a way where they are trying to maintain control because it benefits them. And I say that because of the Five of Wands, and I think that this is something that you don't need to be engaged in. Now, on the other hand, with the Page of Swords here, if we're talking about something being dredged up from the past, for you, it's needing some answers here. But the Page of Swords, I look at that as, the bad communication, the messages you don't want to hear, half-truths, not having full disclosure, not having all the answers. But what I worry about here is somebody that may be trying to like mentally manipulate a situation in order to stay in control. But like I said, with Judgment, it's like that clarity is kind of coming in, and you see that now. And you see that this kind of like complacency type feeling and seeing it in where it has put you, in this place of boredom and disinterest. But like I said, with the Three of Cups coming out, even if it is about a third party situation here, you're like completely separating yourself from this with the Nine of Pentacles coming out. I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want to be a part of it, or I don't want to be the third party anymore, which could be a problem here if we're talking about a relationship situation. But now on the other hand, like I said, I look at the Two of Wands and the Three of Cups, and I think, being able to get to a place where you get to celebrate your independence because there was support that came through for you that helped you start to take the action that you needed to gain that independence, right? And again, taking control of your destiny and what is happening in your life. But it's not bad, Leo. Other than, where you're dealing with this kind of like controlling energy here, right? But the way, if you're dealing with a person, no matter who they are, the way that they're acting and the way that they're communicating is going to open you up to seeing things from a very different place here. Like, aha, I finally see, I finally get it now, rather than keeping, like I said, yourself in this place of just like being and pent up and pushed down. And then integration. And that's really what you need right now. So birth could literally be talking about a birth, a child being born here. But generally, we're looking at this and it's talking about a new life, a brand new life for you, where you get to heal your heart and spirit. And integration is talking about getting your mind, your spirit, and your thoughts and your emotions and everything just going in the right direction, if I could spit it out, right? So you're going to be living a brand new life here. That's going to give you an opportunity to heal everything that is going on, and you're going to feel in better control of yourself and where you're headed. My God, I can't, like, I hear it in my mind, but I'm hearing a bunch of other things and I just want to spit it out. I always like it when that one, rejuvenating rain, clear the past, heal the present, and again, heal heart and spirit. Yep. Breaking trails. So there's going to be a breakthrough for you. That's going to allow you to clear that past up and do the healing that you need to do. But it's all around you being, more financially independent, or just, being independent and happy on your own here. But I still like it coming out for you. I don't like the oppression, but where you end up is much better than where you were at. And don't get caught up in any kind of pettiness or competition for that matter.